What's up? Welcome to another Barber Life podcast, episode 7. We out here with Edwin the Barber, Life is Memories. We got Mario, and we're going to be interviewing a young entrepreneur on the upcoming rising 14-year-old barber right here, Edwin. We got our special guest too, Mario. So what is it that you do a little bit, Mario?
Business life coach and personal development.
Business life coach and personal development, right?
That's what we do.
How long you been doing it?
Been doing it for 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Loving it, huh?
Loving it. I love seeing people exude what God has put in them. Be all that you can be. That's what we were called to do.
That motivate, elevate mentality.
Yes.
Exactly. The champ just got off a fight, huh? Just got back.
Hey, and it was a lesson. This was a fight that it was just not. It was unfortunate. It didn't work out my way, but it was very controversial. So I had to learn it and just take it for what it is. It's just one of the stepping stones. That's a part of the journey. So, like you said, life coach. There's different attributes that you're gonna go through in life. It's never a straight path. So it's one other trait that I'm gonna coach up and comers upon. Hey, how to overcome adversity. So.
Having patience, because your time's coming, huh?
Hey, I think everybody has a time. It's just you got to come up. It's like that saying: when you're digging for gold, don't stop until you get to it. Don't turn around before you get there too early.
Exactly. That's what we want to, get to Edwin the Barber right here. He's upcoming barber, only 14 years old. And so he's already got a YouTube going. I motivated him to do the YouTube. So how do you feel about the YouTube?
It's okay. Like I like making videos for everyone.
You love it though, you've always wanted to be a blogger. No?
Ever since I could remember.
It's like
I was
so you've been blogging since you're like 7, 8?
Like 5. I was like
since 5. Oh snap! See this new generation.
I'm still trying to figure out what a blogger is.
A blogger.
Video,
A new generation. It's like a social media influencer. It's like the newest thing. So. I think YouTube and TikTok have kind of blown up on this up and coming generation.
Yeah, and as an upcoming barber, new in the industry, wanting to be a young entrepreneur like him, what do you guys think? Like you got to do it all, right? You got to get into the YouTube, you got to get into the TikTok, you got to get into the Snapchat.
One of the things that I share with people is that, it's good to know all those things because it's only going to enhance where you want to go. But don't forget that before all that, we were here before.
Right.
The fundamentals.
Don't forget that what we had worked for us, and we were as successful. We look at the artists, the music singers, and stuff like that, and they rank about how they were able to achieve and overachieve other people's records, and they'll say that about. Oh yeah, we've done more than Elvis, and we've done more than Michael Jackson. Well, I'm old school. I'm going to say, wait a minute. They didn't have the technology that you had.
True.
Okay, so you can't compete
with old school
because they went as far as they could take it.
They didn't have the same tools, so yeah.
They didn't have the same tools, so we need to respect that. Okay. Yet I can make a twist on that and tell you that. If we take Elvis and Michael Jackson and the people before, and we put them, even though they're no longer with us, and we start listening to their music, I'll tell you what, they'll outbeat the ones that are rising.
Sure.
Right.
So we don't ignore those things. And
no, for sure. I think with all that, it's like there's music artists now, even today, that are a lot of independent artists, and they still do the old school ways where they're going to pass out and sell mixtapes, and because they're trying to build that person-to-person relation rather than just trying to push the agenda on that boost button or sharing an ad on Facebook or Instagram.
You hit a point. One of the things that there was a word thrown around today. It was called an entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur, yeah.
Entrepreneur is something that we have to begin to embrace because in my day, you weren't called an entrepreneur. You were called self-starter. You were called your own person, your own business person. And so we took off with that. But today with education and schooling, even though you're a young entrepreneur, education is still tied to it. And so you don't want to dismiss that. You know, you don't want to say, well, I don't need school because, you know, I'm my own person. But school teaches you something. It's called discipline.
Do you think back then did more people have multiple jobs, whereas now everybody wants to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, or were
No.
more people more niched into
Most
it?
people were committed to what they did. And
Okay.
that's why they were far more successful than most of the young people will be today. You'll be successful. You'll reach a point of excellence in a very short period of time, but you'll burn yourself out as well.
I got you. That makes sense.
And so in a season and its time, you can say, well, I'm already bored of this, and now you're going to be looking for something new.
Because you're just so sporadic. I want to do this. I want to do that. And you see so much. That's what they say. They say on our social media, we're glued to it because it's like
There's so
putting
many
all the
other
things. Yeah, there's so many things. It's like movies, and you're fast tracking them. Oh yeah, boom, 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 boom. Really, really. 15 seconds, 20 seconds.
But what also comes with that is the unrealisticness. You know, we say, well, I can do that. And you
There's a lot of
keep up what you just started.
There's a lot of people that say
Because,
that.
oh, we can do, it makes it look easy, and nothing is easy.
Nothing.
Nothing. What he's done for you in cutting that hair, he makes it look easy. But what we don't take into consideration is it's taken him time to make it that way, so it looks easy. And it becomes inviting to others that say, you know,
I could do it.
I could do that.
I
Why
could
don't
do
you
that.
show me? Well, at least we got the right foot started.
Oh, I don't got to go to school because I watched the video. I already know how to do it.
Yeah.
And you know, with the young people, I'm excited. I really like to see young people break out from what we
Earlier age, though, right?
yes, at a much earlier age. And you know, the truth is, we're repeating ourselves back from the 1800s. And because in the 1800s, kids at 12, 13, and 14 were young entrepreneurs. They didn't have the schools like we have today. Today, schools have trapped us to do the 12-year program.
Yeah.
You know, so by the time you get out, you're 18.
Mm-hmm.
Well, half your life is gone. Or your youth is gone.
Yeah.
And so what I'm seeing today is a lot of young people, you know, thank God for YouTube and what have you, that people are saying, hey, maybe there is a talent for me to do. And if people begin to tap into that, and one of the things I'll share with you is it doesn't matter how much talent you have. What's going to be very, very important, it's going to be very, very hard, is to make sure you're connected to people that are grounded in your success. Because you're going to want to have that tendency to want to do it by yourself. You know, Tarzan, yeah, I could do it. And at the end, you get to the top of the mountain, ain't nobody there. So who did you do it for? But when you tie yourself up with people that have been there and tie yourself up with people that are going with you, when you get to the top, everybody celebrates with you and you're not there by yourself. And you feel like you've succeeded something.
Sure. Vacation's always funner when you can bring your friends with you.
Absolutely.
Hey,
It's like that. Yes.
This is valuable information, I think, for you as a 14-year-old, and I think it's just only going to make him explode into, you know what I mean? Like you said, him becoming his best version of himself, you know. And this is awesome, you know. Like, I appreciate you guys giving him this talk, you know. Also, we got some food right here for you guys too. This video is sponsored by Guadalajara Style.
Ooh.
We got some
Check 'em
ceviche.
out.
We got some tamales for you guys, for the guests, for Edwin.
Yeah.
Appreciate
We
you,
got Mario
Guadalajara.
coming out. We got
You guys didn't know they're at the
Guadalajara Style.
public market.
They're in Pasco and in Richland too. 3 locations in Tri-Cities, man. They're killing it. They started from the bottom, so make sure you guys support local. That's what it's all about. So,
Support local, stay local, make it be local.
Hey, people buy from people. Hey, we can all help each other build.
let's give each other some tostadas. Let's see.
Walking with it.
I got you. I'll bring you a tostada. Oh, wait, this is the little ceviche. The champ prize just got out of practice.
I did just get out of practice. Shoot. Johnny told me we had a podcast, and I was like, psh, hey, bro, we on the right day? Because tomorrow I got another event. I just want to make sure my calendar is correct. So.
You were saying, if I could, I want to revisit a conversation that you said
Yeah.
in adversity.
Yes.
Adversity is so misunderstood,
Okay.
and it needs to be welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have that adversity where you didn't get the results, how do you test yourself if you're going to get better?
No, I say that all the time. Like, you learn your biggest lessons from that adversity or a loss or a failure. It's because it's something you've never dealt with before.
Correct.
And so let's say you're let's be a little dramatic. Let's say you're selling a boat. If you've never encountered where your boat got into got a hole or a malfunction, or what are you gonna do?
Would you like the
You would panic. You would panic especially if you're on a boat. You're on top of water.
Yeah.
So
There isn't hard ground to
yeah. So it's like I think with having that trial and error, I think if you go through the protocols of failure, then you'll have the necessary like attributes to handle that situation. If you've never handled that situation, then of course most chaotic things happen in a panic. That's where things go wrong. And so I think the more people are put into that type of situation, they don't freak out. They know how to overcome and can kind of just lead that next person as being a leader if they have a team that's next to them. So
adversity, what adversity does above all things, it builds character. Okay, if you can learn to build character of strength and diligence over what just happened, and do it in a manner that's respectful and honorable, not only do people admire you, but it gives you a greater sense of self-worth in yourself. You know, losing isn't like the end of the world. It's actually the beginning of a new world.
Oh, that's for sure. It took a lot for me to withhold the but at the same time, like I said, it was a lesson. I had people reach out to me and they're like, hey, they all respect about how you handled the situation.
Yeah.
And so there's two sides of every coin, and there's one way I could have acted it one way, or I could choose the higher route. And so I chose to take the higher route and keep it pushing, take it as a lesson, and hopefully come full circle. We can get that situation handled in a later date.
Correct.
So
now you want to be a barber, correct?
Correct.
One of the best barbers is what I heard.
Yeah.
Explain to me,
how long has he been cutting? Like,
how long have you been cutting
When
hair?
did he start?
I've been cutting hair for 5 months now.
5 months. Where did that birth come from?
It all came from my cousin Miguel, the one that.
Miguel Cuts. Shout out to Miguel Cuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to your mentors.
He started cutting hair, and like he got me into it because he said it was really easy and it was really fun to do. So I tried it out, and from there I really liked it, and that's.
I'm going to throw a twist in this conversation because the viewers, I want you to hear something about how we begin to view things in life. Okay. Just a little bit about myself. I did 10 years in the military, and after the military, I started my own business, and I've never worked for another person since after that. Okay. And I've always had that attitude: if I'm going to go broke, I'll go broke under my own strength, not under somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with working for somebody. That's not where I'm going. But one of the things that I did not learn until later in life is some of the information I'm giving you tonight. So I said to you, when was this birth? Okay, every idea is actually a birth. Just like a woman when she finds out she's pregnant, so you are pregnant with the idea. Okay, that you want to be the best barber. Okay, ask a woman who's having a baby how she treats that child while she's going through that. And you're going to find out that she's watching what she eats. The majority of them watch what they eat. They take care of their health, and they do this and they do that. Such is your dream. You have to take care of it. You have to watch it. Because there's going to come a time when, right now, it's an embryo stage. It will be birthed when you finally open up your store. Now the baby showed up. So this is the time where you're thinking about it, you're molding it, you're shaping that child, you're protecting it, you're getting right feedback from people that are telling you how to handle that birth when it finally comes.
But you gotta tell people, right? That's really important.
Yeah.
You gotta like speak out your dreams. That's another
You
thing.
gotta call it out. You know, when you
manifest.
when you see a couple that's having a baby,
So it's just so
and,
good.
and Johnny could be a testament about this. When you guys were having your first baby, long before it showed up, you guys were talking about the baby.
Yeah.
You know, the color eyes she's gonna have, the hair, the trips, and all that stuff. These are things that are gonna happen. Okay. So likewise, your vision, your baby that you have in your head. You gotta talk about it like it's already here. You gotta like, you know, I'm cutting hair. I can see myself that with a client on the chair, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and having these types of conversations. And you know, why do you want to be a barber? You have to, you have to answer that question for yourself. Why do you want to be one? Not just because I want to be one. There's got to be a real answer. Why do you want to do that?
Right.
You know.
Also, I think it's important that you kind of set challenges for yourself on a daily aspect, a weekly aspect, or monthly, so it keeps you on your toes to kind of continue to grow.
Yeah, one of those things that you said, you gave them the other idea the other day. What was it? That get 5 envelopes and the envelope put 20 business cards, and every day your job is to hand out those 20 business cards, and take Saturday, Sunday off. If you don't hand it out on a certain day because you got too busy, now you're working Saturday or Sunday. But in 4 months, you're going to be booked out.
That's one of the trainings that I teach on how to explode your business. And you were talking about it. You can explode it by Instagram, by YouTube channel, and all these other things. And those are great. But I'm very old school when I say I like to pick and choose my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't be able to pick and choose my clients unless I go physically meet these people. You know, and this sounds kind of controversial.
Having conversations builds relationships, right?
Absolutely. It's funny, but I actually will find my clients in my competition's chair.
Okay, they felt the different energy and kind of just migrated towards you.
So if because I'm a coach and trainer, and I know that they're in a coaching session, I'll ask them, so how do you like your coaching? This, that, and the other. And I don't take anything away from them. I respect that. But if I hear something that they're not getting, I say, here, give me a call. Okay? I talk to the world, but I'll always talk to my competition's clients. Because sometimes a client will have a customer for so long that they're afraid to move on.
They don't know how to solve that problem anymore. And so you become the problem solver by listening to them, and you're like, oh, I can end by asking the right questions, figuring out what that problem was, what they were missing. You're like, yeah, I can kind of capitalize on that. I kind of same thing with the fighting. It's like in a fight, you're trying to figure out what that person's weakness is, so you can use your strengths. And you want to go to your strengths, and so I think that's what's really important. Same with like haircutting. If you're really good at a certain haircut, it's good to challenge yourself so you can try to get outside of that comfort zone. So when you have that client, you're not in a panic. Oh snap, somebody wants a high fade with the design. Oh, I ain't never done that before. But if you've tried and practiced with your friends, then I think that's what's going to make you feel more comfortable. But like you said, if all you guys are looking for a new technique upon how to get new clients, 5 envelopes, 20 business cards each. Challenge yourself to talk to 20 random strangers.
By Mario.
Passing them out. Hey.
I was thinking like 250 cards a month, but that's kind of like, that's not organized, you know? But if, like you said, it put 20 cards.
It's possible if you take them and put them in the way I told you.
Right. Okay. It's more organized, more easier, more
so you
manageable.
I think it's a little less intimidating too.
So what the way I display it is I find a place in my office and I'll put 7 envelopes. The 7 envelopes I put Monday and finish on Sunday. And I'll put 20 cards in each envelope except Saturday and Sunday. Now I choose Saturday, Sunday not to have any envelopes because I don't like to work Saturday and Sunday. I really don't like to, even to this day. But I'll do it if I have to.
Right.
Okay. So I'll take those 20 cards And it's my job on top of what I already do to make sure those 20 cards are given to people. Now, I will not count the person that's sitting in my chair or in my business. If I'm in my store, the customer's coming in, I'm going to give a card. That doesn't count.
That's not getting out of your comfort zone.
Okay? That doesn't count. You have to go find them out in the street. Okay?
Yeah.
You have to go to the car washes. You have to go to laundromats. You got to go wherever you got to go.
I've been to laundromats, all that.
You know?
I left cards, yeah.
And one of the things you will never see me
You're
do.
gonna get pride if you do all that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're gonna know that you got it on your own. You know, that's another thing too. You know what I mean? Like,
One of the things I don't do is I do not leave a pile of cards. Never.
Johnny, I
That
just saw that.
That card.
I'm guilty for that.
Okay, I don't do that. For what reason?
They get thrown
That
away.
card is money.
Mhm.
It's $20 that you're leaving there. And if I'm going to leave it at a store that I know it's not their responsibility to get it out,
Mm-hmm.
and you left 5 cards there, how much money did you leave?
$100.
You know, where I could have taken those 5 cards and passed it out.
What'd you think of the ceviche?
This is awesomely good.
Mine
This
is
is very, very
soggy.
good. Oh, I like it.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it's
So I want to hear from you. What have you learned from the very little?
yeah. What's your favorite haircut to do? Like, what do you like? What do you like doing right now? What are you getting into right now?
What's the latest haircut you did today?
Today, I didn't do any haircuts.
You didn't do no
today.
haircuts today?
But yesterday.
Okay, what's the last haircut you did?
Last haircut?
There you go. That's the better question. What's the last haircut you did?
A mid taper.
Mid taper.
With the freestyle, no?
Like, yeah,
How did that go? Oh, with the freestyle.
A little louder.
Okay.
A little louder.
yeah, it went okay. I was a little scared at first, but
You're going in through all these challenges. That
What was scared about it?
And this video
The design
motivate
part?
all these
Yeah,
young
'cause,
young
he
barbers
just
are out
wanted
there,
like
you know what I mean? Like,
Get
like
involved. Get
like a
involved. If you're
freestyle
looking for
with like an
that
initial.
barber,
you want to come tell
And,
your story
I
like
didn't know how to do the
barber,
initial.
head to the DM. We'll get
I
you
was
guys
kind
in
of
here.
scared to
Free food,
like mess up the initial for them.
Got you. So
free
then,
vibes, all that.
did you try to make sure that the design was a little bit bigger, or did he want a small initial, and that's what you were like, hey, I don't have enough room to work with, or
Yeah,
got you.
Yeah.
So, what do you think helped you the most upon feeling comfortable while doing so?
Probably just know what the clipper does already. Like already getting used to handling it.
Because you still watch videos, no, like tutorials. Is that something you're still kind of
Yeah.
like you're still humble as an upcoming barber? That's one of the huge things, right? I think is being humble. Because once they get it, you know, a lot of people they think that, oh, I'm not going to talk to this person or I'm not going to help that person. It's just all about me. And it's like, you should stay humble, right, through the whole journey. Like, and that's how you're going to, when you get to the top, right, you're not going to be alone, right?
you know, humble is a trait, not something that you're born with. It's something you have to develop. Unfortunately, we have way too many successful people that have been able to reach the star, but forget the equivalence of what that means. It means to stay humble. Instead, they offend people, and they offend their own life. Okay? No one has the right to offend people because you have so much money or so much status. And yet, that's what's happening in today's society. Okay? Being humble makes you more popular than the person that's actually reached higher than you. Because people remember quiet people, humble people. My best friends are people that not only give me sound, solid advice, but they do it in a way that's not how do you say?
Ignorant?
No, aggressive. They're not boastful. They do it in a way that you can feel like, wow, it's genuine. This guy really cares.
Yeah.
She really listens to what I say. And those are traits that you have to constantly develop, constantly be seeking, constantly be embracing people that are that way. Because I'm telling you, in this world, and I'm going to tell you there's a lot of money in the beauty industry, 15 years as a makeup artist is what I used to do.
Oh, you did that, so
Yes,
hey,
I did.
15
Yeah.
years, this man, beauty, makeup.
Okay.
That's
So
great.
I
Is that something that
understand.
you miss, or is that something that?
I enjoyed it for its season. I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
So how'd you get into the whole makeup thing? That's
It was
pretty
really funny. Long story short, it was
The
called
America?
It was called Mary Kay.
And then I remember you told me a little bit of that story, but
Yeah, and it
so
just
you sold the product, and then after that, you
I
got
actually
into
sold the
makeup.
product, and in that business, your job is
You
not
won
only
a
to
car
sell
too,
it.
right? You mentioned
Yes.
Oh, he's
that.
top
Those girls
salesman.
that- yeah.
Top salesman right there.
Top salesman.
Life knows what that is. He's like, I've looked that up before.
I know
Right?
exactly what he's talking
Mary
about.
Kay gives away a Cadillac, and we call that the trophy on wheels. Okay, so I won that car 3.5 years after I got involved.
You gotta listen to this, man. If you win the car upon a company that takes sales, you know exactly what you're doing. You're a really good, influential
Well, it's-
people person.
Oh, well, here's one of the things
You're
that I
passionate.
could that I could say, and I'm not trying to be boisterous or anything. It's just I care about people. I really care about people.
That's how I feel.
In any place that
I'll just
allows
say
me to
it.
help
I mean it.
people see their potential, I'm in. Okay, but I'm very competitive as well. When this lady told me that she was able to win a car by simply selling lipstick, I said, "Oh, can I do the same thing?" And she said, "Well,
You could.
yeah, I guess you could." Well, when I said that, I didn't take into consideration that when I signed the contract, I was signing a contract that I was entering a woman's world. There isn't men in Mary Kay.
Totally different dynamic.
Okay, so tell me things weren't different. It was totally different. One of the things I did get away with was whenever I walked into the arena, I really was a movie star to those people because they wanted the viewpoint of a man. How is it you can do makeovers on women, and so I was able to give that, but I always maintained a spirit of humbleness because it was about wanting my team to be better than me. And when you give of yourself with that attitude, then you've achieved what is written in the scriptures. They asked the master of the universe, they said, "What must I do to become successful?" I loved his answer. He says, "You must be a servant for the multitude." So you're in a servant's chair. When a customer comes to talk to you, you're their servant.
Yeah, that's what I tell these
Okay,
guys.
you're there not to just hear what they're saying, but adapt to what they're saying. That you're going to give them exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Okay, that helps you stay humble. But there's people that are
What's that?
in this industry
Potato
On a potato taco?
that because they're so good that they're going to tell you how they're going to do it for you. I want you to cut my hair this way. Well, it doesn't look good on you this way. Okay, well, let's just do it this way. Well, wait a minute.
I'm paying you.
Being humble is a requirement in any servant position. It's the greatest position you can be. A salesperson is a servant to their client. And yet we don't see that in the atmosphere today. All we see is the glitz and the glimmer. That's all good and fine. But if you lose your humbleness, then that was all in vain.
It's almost like it's not even worth it. Like if you get to the top and you didn't help and you didn't stay humble, it's lame. You got there, but you brought people down. You were mean. So who's gonna want to hang out with you? Too,
Yeah.
You know.
People are going to say, you know what, this guy.
They're like, screw this guy. He's
This guy,
rude.
forget it.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a lonely world, lonely to the top. And so you gotta stay. He's a busy man too. That's another thing too that you started. How you started your own church, huh?
Yes, I have a church online,
Online church. So if you guys want to check out, what is the
Check it
name of
out.
your church?
Destiny of Grace.
Okay.
Destiny of Grace.
Okay.
So on YouTube or not on YouTube?
It is on YouTube.
On YouTube.
If
So what do you
you're
do? You
looking
go
for
live?
it is it is live, but right now they're all pre-programmed, pre-recorded. Eventually, it's going to go to live.
And then how long you been doing this whole church online?
Church, I've had that for a long time, but finally put it on live and literally out of a church setting. I just started that a month ago.
Hey, congratulations, congratulations. Hey,
Gotta go.
hey, those are big steps. Those are big
You know.
steps.
You whenever you get into anything, make sure you're prepared for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Since 1998, I knew I wanted to start a church. 1998.
98. So
That's
we're-
long before you were born.
So we're talking like 20 something,
20 some odd years.
See,
Okay.
he's been manifesting on this whole church thing. It's just like you know, you're manifesting already. You're already putting in the work. Right now, we actually got a barber on the other side. He was in my first barber camp, and this was in 2019, right, when we did the camp, the first one.
Yeah, that was.
So this was 4 years ago. So this kid was like 14 years old, or no, 13 years old. He's 17 now, and he's working running out the Barber Life Studio from the first barber camp for kids.
True. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
All the people that Johnny's been able to influence through the
We've already
time
had
we've
8 barber
started.
camps.
2019 to 2023, you've had what, 9, 10,
Eight barber camps.
8 barber camps.
About to have 9.
About to go 9.
On the
We got some
20th.
special end of the summer news. Stay tuned for that. But we can't drop that type of information yet. So, but the future is bright for upon what we're trying to do, educate the next generation of barbers. I love
This
what
guy,
Johnny's
you know,
doing. Like he's saying, he's influencing younger barbers, 14 years old.
That is so
12,
awesome.
11.
That is so awesome. And, you know, everybody's going to call you Johnny Blade. I'm going to call you King Blade. For you.
People have blessed
You
me
know,
as
or Master Blade. You know, I think I called you Master Blade when I called you today. Is it Master Blade?
I think so. Yeah. Well, the other day I got blessed as Johnny Beast. You know, like the other guy. What's his name?
Mr. Beast?
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast, yeah.
No, it's because it's like, I don't know, this man's always doing different things,
Yeah.
different community work. And I think that's what sets him apart as being a barber, because there's more, like you said, there's more to the haircut than just that as being a barber. It's the conversations you have with somebody and what you do outside those doors. It's like, I tell to like in the athlete world, I'm like, it's not what you just do on the mat, it's what you do off the mat. So like he's outside these barber doors, he's networking with this community, he's giving back to the homeless, he's going to the food kitchen sometimes, he's doing back to school events, free haircut events.
Yeah, we're
It's like,
going to do one on the 22nd
You know,
with Picante.
I went, and I'm going to say this to you. To do what you do, again, like being humble, it's an attribute you have to build. I have met many people in my life, very few people like you, Johnny, very few people like you that think more about giving than doing. And they have been very successful. And I'll be the first to say, I'm not a giver. I'm a producer. I'll help you produce what you need to do. That's the way I give. I've given, to the food banks. I've gone and helped, but it's not the same as what you feel. There's a fulfillment on your part.
Right.
On my part, it's like I would be more fulfilled if I was able to give you the keys to succeed. That's when you finally say, I'm like, oh yeah. And people say, you gave them all, yeah. But what I'm saying in that is the secret to life is to give. It is written, it is better to give than it is to receive.
Right.
And it's really funny because that's an oxymoron statement.
What's oxymoron? You told me that last time, I remember.
Oxymoron is using a sentence the word that doesn't belong in that sentence.
Mhm.
Right.
So why would you say it's better to give than it is to receive? Either you're going to give or you're going to receive. And it's because it's a fact that whenever you give something out, you're going to receive it. You're going to have to come. I spoke to a gentleman today who we got to talking, he said, so what do you do? I says, I'm a mentor and a coach. And he looks and he says, oh my God. I said, what? He said, I've been praying for a person like you. That's what I was saying. He said, I've been looking for a mentor. I said, well, I've been giving for so long that now it's coming back. People are finally saying, I want you to mentor me.
Because you've been humble too the whole time, and that's why it's
so you've
been planting seeds.
Okay, so always remember in service, find where you give and develop that. It may not be like Johnny, who's out there in the public doing all these random things, but there's other ways to give, and find out what in you like to give in, that you can afford to do it where it doesn't cost you anything.
I think that's a trait for all you guys.
Okay.
Go find that thing.
Find what motivates you. I really believe in society today. I often have conversations with people and they say, people are so hateful. And I say this, people aren't hateful. People are angry. Don't mix the two. Hateful is just evil. People will just be evil. But what we're missing is the word anger. And people are angry for 3 areas. Number 1, they don't know who they are. So I want you to watch for my podcast. It's called Who Are You? What Do You Want? There I teach you about your 4 personalities. And you have to find out who you are before you can know what you want. Because there's people that want to do something that doesn't go with their personality. They become frustrated and just, and so they take it out on the world. No, find out what your personality is.
You got to love yourself. Find
that's
it.
how it was for me too. I growing up, I wanted to be, with a pilot, and then I was like, oh, kind of was scared of heights, How am I gonna get up there? And then I'm like, okay, I might want to be a doctor for my mom and make her proud, but then I'm like, oh, the needles, I don't know. So I'm like, I'm getting to know myself. I'm like, how am I gonna poke people if I can't even like handle it being poked on me? And like, it's not the best feeling, being around the needles and like, opening people up and all that stuff. And then it's just like, so yeah, like you said, you slowly try to figure out where you belong.
Where do you belong? Your personality tells you that. Okay, I am
because I went to the university too for 4.5 years. And I tried physical therapy and I tried other careers, and slowly, the more I'm in this industry, I believe that I belong here.
Let me ask you this: when you were in all those areas, was it frustrating to you when you said, well, wait a minute, this just doesn't fit with me. It doesn't go with my
I would laugh.
person.
I would laugh because I knew whatever job I was trying now, I knew I wasn't going to be there forever. But I was just
I just wanted to try it.
I just wanted to try it. I would like let's say for example, like if I wanted to sit down and everything was done in the job and there was no customers, like I worked at a gas station, and then I would try to look for a place to sit down, and there was no place, no customers, everything's super clean, the fridge is stacked up, and I would laugh, and I'm like, these people are really like, they want you to be on your feet for 8 hours, they control everything you do, and I would take it for what it was, but I would laugh, and I'm like, I know I'm not doing this forever, you're not gonna like control me for the rest of my life, this is just for now, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing later, but this is just for now, and I would just have fun with it and enjoy it, and try to have people laughing and cracking up, but I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I tried 25 different jobs before becoming a barber, so and every job that I tried, I knew it wasn't for me.
What I share with people, so the in-personality, which is your nurturing person, there's the 4 personalities. You have the blueprint model, the person that's very structured in their life. Everything about them is structured. And they don't like to be unstructured. And if you're married to one of those people, I'm sorry for you, but you got to come home, throw your shoes off the floor, and they're looking at you like, oh, put them back.
They have a designated place.
That's the structured person. Then you have your type A personality, which is, I like to make fun of it because it really is who we are. And I say we because I am that person. We're the Donald Trumps of the world. We're the people that are very bold, very front. We're very confident, and people get offended by that, okay? Because we're very sure of ourselves. Doesn't make us better than anybody else, and we'll be the first to tell you that. But we just know where we're going, okay? Even though we don't, but we know where we're going.
Okay. A vision, right?
Yeah, we see it through vision. Then you have your nurturer, which is what you are. And a nurturer is a person that cares about people. They really want to make them feel good. And I've talked to I bet you about 80% of beauticians are nurturers. Just like nurses. These are people that care so much that I was talking to a young lady the other day who's a nurturer, and I said, "So why do you like being a hairstylist?" And she says, "Because I love to see their faces when I fix them all up. Makes me feel very good." That's a nurturer.
Yeah.
And then you have your K personality, which is your studier, the person that's very intellectual. Those are I call them the people that
Behind the scenes?
the people that no, that's the in.
Okay.
The in is a behind scene person. They don't want to be recognized. Right? But the K personality is a person that people find them very boring because they're always talking very intellectual. They're your doctors or your attorneys, they're your blueprint readers. These are, and so I call them the most unsocialized people. Also because if we had a K in here, he or she would have already gotten up and left. But because Mario's here, they stayed. Because I know how to speak intellectually. K or A's, we adapt to every language. It's the one thing that we do. We listen, and next thing you know, we're speaking how you like to listen, how you like to talk. And so, if you're married to a K and you're an A, kudos to you.
So like he said, check out his podcast. He goes through all the breakdown of all of the different personalities. I think it would be very knowledgeable to do so. I think it's important upon as you go through life. It's psychology. When people buy from people. So if you know the different personality types that you're dealing with, I think it makes your life easier as you go through it.
It does. And it helps you to understand. In 90 seconds, I can tell a person what their personality is.
Okay.
And when you take my course in 90 days, I teach you how to watch quickly, and you'll be able to identify. When you understand the person that's in front of you, you change the way you think and the way you talk for them. Because it's like a language. If I speak Spanish and you speak English, and that's the only language we learn, how are we going to be able to? Well, we make those adjustments. How is it that a woman can marry a man that doesn't speak her language, and vice versa, and yet they're able to make it work? Because they've learned. We have to let go of the way we think, the way we talk, and we have to learn how they do it. And so, through the personality, I teach you how to do those things. So you don't have to feel offended, but you feel completed. And
you learn how to put other people's shoe on.
Yeah.
So then you can kind of, like you said, give a feel for other people's feelings and perspective. You don't have to kind of do everything they do, but you can understand where they're coming from.
You don't lose your identity. That would be the important thing. You never lose your identity for somebody else.
Yeah, but you got a greater understanding, so then now you can see what they're seeing when they're speaking. You're not just like, hey, one-sided.
Yeah.
Like you said. It goes back to that two sides to every coin. When somebody else is speaking, it's like if you can relate to what you're going through, I think it just makes it that much more personal. So
right. This young man, I think he's got a head start on all of us now because
he's got a huge head start.
So he's gonna definitely do great, and he can go back to school this next school year and talk about, hey, I was in a podcast. What? People are gonna be like, check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, check it out on YouTube.
I'm one of them. And it's just like he's been learning. He's been helping out the shop. This kid's been cleaning the windows. He's been sweeping, mopping. Anything you tell him to do, he's on it. He helps us clean the clippers and all that. And he's cutting off on the side too. His friends and family and stuff like that. So super proud of him. And honestly, it's an honor to have you on the squad. And
always.
So what do you see yourself like in another year, or 3 to 5 years?
In a year?
You're 14.
Yeah,
15.
What summer's about to end right now? What do we got? So by the end of the year, what's a goal that you could set for yourself? That
the cards with the 25 envelopes. Do you like
I have that? Yeah. So I have.
You got a social media, so what are you looking at on followers? You think you can grow to 1,000 extra 1,000 by the end of the year?
100K.
100K by the end of the year?
1,000.
Oh my goodness!
You got big dreams. Let's go.
That's on the goal high, but I believe you can do it. But I think you're gonna have to do the foot traffic. And it's gonna take a little bit more than a little bit of his advice, and then as well as the social media side.
So if I'm gonna throw that in, because that's also as important, we're looking at how many followers you can have. I go one step closer to that. How many people can I impact personally?
Bro, that's my thing. That's my thing.
I want to know that.
How many people can I impact?
How many people? I have a saying, and it sounds kind of corny, but it is. Ever what?
It's about adding value.
Yeah. Ever
to
go
everybody
to
you
a
meet.
funeral? I measure funerals. I really do. Okay. I not only marry people, but I bury people. So I measure funerals.
What?
And, some people will have 20 people there. And then there's people that'll have up to 300 people. When you have 300 people, you knew that person was a shaker and mover. I've always said, the day I leave this earth, I want to know that there wasn't enough room to handle the people that I
impacted. All right.
So for me, it is important to impact people in the most positive way.
Like Kobe, he had a whole big old, he want people.
I see. So I think
Like
that's even.
legends.
I think that's even a better, greater understanding.
Basically, die
A greater goal than just trying to get to 100K people. It's like, how many people can I actually influence that want to subscribe to my channel because I brought them that much value by the end of the year?
Correct.
So I think that's another way to
adding
look at
value.
that. Look at that question. I think I even got inspired by that. I was like, okay, cool. That's a different way to think about it. Not just, hey, I want more viewers. It's like, how many people can I actually impact that are just like, hey, bro, you did this for me.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna remember you for the rest of my life. Not just I clicked the button.
So that when you're gone, they're going to actually miss you, and it's just, that's just another name that took off out of this world. They actually.
That's leaving that legacy status. I like
leave
that.
legacy.
Right.
Leave that legacy.
See? And make your mom, your dad proud, too, because, you're a young kid right now, too, you're still living at home, and so they're looking at you, too, like, is he going to make it? But like we said, we're putting you in the right footsteps so you can, if you all do all the right things, we're telling you, you're going to blow up, you know what I mean? You're going to do great things. Or we're excited for you, Did you want to share something else, Mario, or what was?
Yeah, I do, because we're going to make this one a short one, because there's something I never want you to avoid. Because we fed you nothing but good food. Really good meat. Okay?
Le mignon.
But every dish that one has, always there's that plate that you don't want to. I like that salad, but I'm not much of a salad person. You know what I'm saying? But you do it because it's on the plate. Okay? So this is your salad. What do you do, and what will you do when life doesn't look beautiful? You're out there handing out the cards, this, that, and the other. But no matter how good you are, life just happens. You have a girlfriend, she left you. You're not having the success that you wanted.
The people aren't coming in the door.
People aren't coming in when you want them. And all of a sudden, this weight of nobody loves me no more. I'm not appreciated because of the way they're treating me.
This ain't gonna work out. The doubt.
So how do you deal with that? And what will you do when that door actually meets you? I want to hear it from you, and then I'll give you an answer.
How I deal with it is a way I go of my day. I keep that out, and I say that there's another day coming. So I just plan for the future and hope for the best.
Okay. That's a good response, but there's many people out there that couldn't answer that way. Because again, their personality doesn't lend itself that way. Okay. If I'm going to use scripture, I'm going to use it in this fashion. It's very important, and I said it from the beginning. It's very important. God, when He created Adam, He left him by himself. And He looked down and He said, you know what? It ain't good for man to be alone. Let's hook him up with somebody. So you give him a wife. What that displays is that it's never good to be alone. That's what that represented. It wasn't go hook up with a woman. That's not what He was saying. Connect with people. When you're feeling that, and you're trying, and you say, "Well, I'm gonna just remove it from my thought process. I'm gonna think positive," and that's a good game plan, but it's not a realistic plan. Because the Bible says we're to confess our I'm gonna use two terms. We're to confess our sins one to another. I like to use the word weakness. It's to confess our weakness one to another. So when you're going through that, you need to run to Johnny. Say, can I just talk to you? What's going on? And I'm just like, and you know what? Johnny may not even have an answer. And in most cases, I would tell Johnny, don't answer. He just needs to vent. And that's another thing that I teach on relationships is when your spouse comes to you and throws all these things out to you, you don't always have to have the answer. It's best you don't have an answer. I always come back with, well, how do you want to handle it? Because you actually have the answer. But I don't need you to tell me the answer. But you just want to vent it. So my suggestion to you, you're young enough, learn early enough to run to the people you honor and respect. And don't be afraid to tell them whatever you're going through.
Your parents, though, too, huh? That's another one.
Yes. I would say your parents, be very careful. Okay? Be very careful. I love parents. I'm very
Wow,
blessed.
shout out to our parents for bringing us into this world.
I love my children.
But
But I've been fortunate. My daughter thinks the world about me. She really does. And she's said it many times. I think you're the wisest man I've ever met. Okay. That's a high compliment. But I don't let that get to me. I want to make sure that she's also finding that in other people. Okay. So why do I say not parents? Because the scripture says, the wounds of a friend availeth much. Why would a friend want to wound me? Because even a parent won't wound you. They'll hurt you, but they won't wound you. What is a wound? When they tell you something you need to hear. A parent won't tell you what you need to hear. They'll tell you what they want you to hear. I told you don't go there. Or a friend says, you know what, dude? You're going to go down there, you're going to get burnt.
Right.
Totally different. So a parent, while I do come to my parents, I would say, yeah, but remember, they're a part of you. And so they don't want to hurt you. So they might not even tell you.
Mm.
So they're kind of going along with you. Where a friend, a real honest friend, will say, no, dude. No, I had a friend one time. Dear friend of mine. I loved this guy. He was a huge minute. I worked so hard to win his to be in his ring of fluences. But I wasn't living the life I needed to be. And he said, Mario, if you don't leave that style of life, I can't be in your circle. And, it's just the way I am. But I would go to him. And in 3 different occasions, he would tell me that. And he says, I guess you're not listening to what I'm telling you. If you do that one more time, you and I have no relationship. And I did it one more time. To this day, over 40 years ago, I've never seen him again. Really?
third strike, he was out.
At the beginning, I took it very personal. At the end, I honored what he said.
He understood. He found the...
That was a real friend. And needless to say, what he was telling me did get me into a mess that I didn't want, but I wasn't listening. So a friend will tell you, you know what? One time I asked the Lord, why did you put the tree in the garden? Why would you do that? And he answered a very interesting reply. He said, that tree represents discipline, and it represents a measure. Love requires discipline and measure. Hatred requires absolutely nothing. See, when somebody says they love you, there's so far that they'll never stop loving you, but there's only so far they'll go with you. You follow what I'm saying? If you're going to keep going down that rabbit hole, don't be mad at them. They've already told you we're only going to here. But if you're going to keep going, you're on your own. You know what I'm saying? You're on your own. And so what I'm saying with you is, don't be so frightful that when you're going through a moment, even the things that you got into drugs, you got in a wrong relationship, you got it in, man. If they know you, they'll support you. And if they're friends, they're going to help you walk out of it. You know what I'm saying? But most importantly, I say this all because in this industry, you're going to have more downfalls than up. And I just don't want to lie to you. I want you to know that going in. So now that you know that, you'll prepare for that. When I do a training on how to succeed your goals, here's what most leaders will do. They'll say, okay, let's write your 10 steps to reach that goal. And then leave that there. I put a board right next to it and say, okay, now that we have the 10 steps to reaching that goal, let's find the 10 steps that's going to divert you from that goal. And how are you going to handle that? Because life happens. We can aim for a goal, but you also got to remember that you got to be realistic. Okay, I said I want to talk to 20 people a day, okay, for 6 months. Okay, great. What a good goal to have. Okay, what's going to keep you from doing that? Oh, no, nothing is going to keep... Oh, yes, they will. Trust me. It'll rain outside.
I was sick. I was tired.
It was too hot.
I was sore.
They brought me the baby. I had to babysit.
How to cut the grass.
Yeah, I had to cut the grass. So those are the things you set and say, when these pictures show up, I'm going to have to learn to say no. No, I can't babysit. No, I can't cut the grass. No, I can't do this. Learning to say no in an honest fashion is honorable. If it means meeting your goal. When you set the goal, trust me, there's people that you didn't know heard you say that. And they're going to come in to interrupt that goal. Not purposely, but purposely.
Stay on track, y'all. Stay on track.
Well, he's so relaxed. I see him. He's not doing anything. Really? He's not doing anything. How do you know that he's not meditating on what he has to be meditating on?
Hey, I hear it all the time. There's always a distraction. Hey, you can go do this, DJ. Go do that. Now I gotta go work out. Or you can just work out tomorrow. No, if I didn't do the workout that day, I missed the whole day. I didn't get the cash in. That's like not putting my deposit in the bank. Because later down the line, you don't know. I'm going to know.
So here's how I will share how to handle that thing. When somebody says to you specifically that way, oh, you can do it tomorrow. In the conversation, just get it going.
Conversation was done. That's kind of dry.
Because it's a way that they're trying to get you to divert. Action speaks louder than words.
And I always put in the action. So
when you gotta go over to the gym. Where'd he go? Well, he said he's going to the gym.
There you go.
But what you're really doing is telling yourself and giving yourself permission to succeed. And what you said you want to succeed in.
Barbering, huh?
And people are they're gonna respect you, and at the same time, honestly, they're gonna hate you.
So people always will hate you and love you.
But you
gotta do what you do.
Well, that's okay.
Gotta be putting in the work, huh?
But again, thank you to Guadalajara.
Yeah.
We appreciate your guys' food. We had ceviche.
Everything.
We had potato. What were those tacos?
Tacos.
That was bomb. I'm not gonna lie. With the salsa, you definitely gotta take another bite of that.
Yeah.
And then
Is that your first time trying that?
Yeah, that's the first time I tried that. Yeah, that was good. Tortas de papa.
Tacos de papa. Right.
Delicioso.
Delicioso with the ceviche. Did you like the ceviche?
Awesome.
It was good.
Everything is very good.
Shout out to the Barber Life Studio hosting us here for the podcast.
Yeah.
Y'all know what it is.
EdwinDaBarber. Shout out to Mario for giving us this
Knowledge.
man.
He gave a lot of gems.
Do it
I hope
again.
you guys
We're
were able
gonna
to
bring 'em
collect
on
them.
again.
And I appreciate all of you guys for giving me such an amazing motivation speech.
Hey, we're putting you on, man, and we appreciate you. Like working hard and always. It looked like you're driven, and looked like you got it in you. So, and I believe and on anybody that wants to do anything they want to do in life, just go for it and put the work in, and you're gonna see results for sure. And have a plan too, right? Plan it out.
Make sure, I hear this a lot, and I'm going to make this short because we need to end it. But, when I ask people, do you have a plan? It's so funny when they come back with it. Well, I don't do that. Why? Well, because what happens if it doesn't happen? Well, what happens if it did? But here's the most important thing. If you don't make a plan, how will you know when you get there? When I take a trip, trust me, I put it in my GPS because it tells me how I got to go to get there. And when I'm getting there, it says, "You're now arrived."
See, that's how you guys need to get. Now
Right.
Get it done.
Appreciate you guys, man, for real. Hey, this is the end of episode 7. Shout out to Guadalajara Style for sponsoring this amazing food.
Awesome.
For making
Go
this
check them
happen.
out.
Shout out to Mario. Shout out to Edwin the Barber. Shout out to Life is Memories, the fighter. Hey, shout out to Mario.
Órale.
We out here.
Can't stop.
We out.
Won't stop.
Won't stop. Let's go.